Welcome to the 42nd Annual Sun and Fun International Convention and Fly-In. I'm Ben Coleman, one of your hosts here at the Florida Aviation Network, and this network can be viewed on www.floridaaviationnetwork.com. And we come to Sun and Fun every year. We are the official television network for Sun and Fun, and each year we have compelling information that we bring to the viewing audience and to the taped audience, because we will play this over and over again. It will be available on YouTube, no doubt, and you can watch it on the website for Florida Aviation Network. Today, we are proud to have something that's innovative and I'm really a fan of what I'm about to. I try not to get involved with the content of what's going on, but there's no way that you cannot get involved with the content of the folks that we're going to talk to next. Do I have you just on the edge of your seat? I should, because we're talking about the Switchblade, and we have some Switchblade owners here. Brian Purdy. Brian.
Hello.
Good to see you again as usual. Brian, and we have Ken Chatham and Ken Chatham. One senior and one is junior, and I'm going to let you figure it out. But we have Ken and Brian, and these guys are Switchblade owners. And Switchblade, what the heck is a Switchblade? And Brian, as you kind of describe it, and if our production guys out there, Obi Young and our volunteer crew here, they're rushing around trying to figure out what is he going to do next. And next he's going to ask one of these cameras to push in, if they can, to his left pec on Brian, or you can pick a Ken or a Ken. But anyway, we want to show you just the plan form of what a Switchblade is. This is too shiny to use, but and Obi's scurrying around, how are we going to do this? Ben, don't do this to me. There you go. They did it. They pulled it off. Samson Switchblade, Samson Motors. And Brian, tell us a little bit about the Switchblade. What is it? What does it do? What's the purpose of it? Is this reality, or is this just fiction? Is this something that we've seen in the Jetsons, or what?
Well, it's potentially fiction and imagination coming to real life. We're looking at it as a sleek, first flying sports car, but it's more than just that to me. It's a new way of thinking about traveling. From instead of going to the airport, driving to the airport, waiting for everything, and then getting where you're going and waiting again, you just drive to your local airport, fly there, land there, and just keep driving. So it's almost like freedom. So, but to me, it's technology finally putting to use the way that we've wanted it to for years.
Okay, well now I'm going to have a hard time playing dumb on this, because I've done a lot of homework. I know Sam and Martha Bosefield personally, and as a matter of fact, I've tried to help them from time to time with some of their design philosophies and spirit. But behind this effort is Sam and Martha Bosefield.
Yes.
And Sam is the lead engineer, I do know that.
Yes.
And he is also the gentleman that's going to put all of this together, him and his staff. Mm-hmm. And Sam's the first guy to tell you. It's one of the few engineers that I know that is very, very humble and personable, yet professional. And Sam knows exactly what he's setting out to do. And I think that's one reason that you guys as owners, and we say you're owners, do you have serial numbers assigned yet, or do you just have a slot in the production?
Slot placement.
You do have?
Yeah.
Ken?
That's Ken second. Yes, sir.
Ken two?
Yeah.
Ken two.
So you're junior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the
And
second.
they're senior. Okay, all right. I get you guys confused.
Okay. There you go.
But you do have a slot.
Yes, sir.
Which slot is it, do you know?
I think 15.
Number 15? Okay, and how did you become aware or first involved with the Switchblade?
At Oshkosh, I was at Oshkosh, met Sam, and we were just when he was talking to us, we looked at everything, and it was like this could work. We thought it was great, and we've been following ever since.
Well, there are other flying car concepts out there. Why the Switchblade?
Well, the nice thing about the Switchblade, it's other flying cars. Okay, they're either good flying or they're decent on the ground. The goal with the Switchblade was to be good in both. That's probably why we're going with the wings stowing underneath, completely out of sight, so they can't be damaged in normal road traffic. You don't get somebody saying, "Oh, look at that," and poke a hole through it. But it's meant to be good use regardless of its use.
Okay, now is it a motorcycle? Is it three-wheeler?
It's three-wheeler. It's three-wheeler, so it goes along like with most Cessnas, tricycle gear, so familiarity with that. Also, a little bit less of the regulations that four-wheel automobiles have. It's still meant to be safe, and we're planning for safety all the way through, but it's also allowing a little more freedom in the design and how it can be implemented.
And we also need to be aware of how the airplane, or I'm sorry, how the car, how the motorcycle. Wait a minute. I'm confusing myself here. But
we just say Switchblade.
We'll just say Switchblade because it is in a class by itself,
Yes.
and I do know that when Sam first brought this up, he did indicate that it was going to be a Class A finish. I mean, it's going to be slick, smooth, and for folks that don't understand Class A finish, think Maserati, Ferrari, Porsche, Mercedes, Rolls-Royce. I mean, those are Class A finishes, and that's both inside and out. The instrument panel, what kind of instrumentation can you anticipate, Brian and Ken?
All the latest. They're looking at a couple of different versions of panels. Pretty much we'll be, I guess, making a selection as we build which one do we want to go with, but it's going to be a combination. There's going to be a quick view panel where it almost would switch between the information you need for driving on the ground and the information you need for driving in the air, piloting in the air. So.
What type of electrical system do we know yet? What we're going to have? Are we 28 volt or 14 volt? 12 volt?
I haven't heard any details. I'm guessing 12 volt, but whatever is a standard aircraft would probably work with.
Well, and how about power plant? Is there some?
Well, right
design?
now we're still primarily looking at the Modus V4 as an engine. That's a high-end motorcycle engine. It's sometimes been referred to as taking a Corvette's engine and cutting it in half as far as the size is concerned. And it's supposed to put out about 160 horsepower normally, and then we're going to use a supercharger to take it up to 190 horsepower. And then with that, we should be able to cruise about 130 knots, max about 150.
Okay, and we're still kind of working out the angle on landing right now. It's intended to be on an airport.
Yes. So as far as everything is concerned, we're looking legally airport operations, or at least your own landing field. No highway takeoffs. So.
Well, Brian, if I had a Switchblade, I would venture to say that from time to time, mechanical things happen when you're flying. And, if you just happen to hear something, oh, what was that noise? I don't know, maybe we should make a precautionary landing and check it out.
Well, that's authorized, right?
Okay, so
It's an
now,
emergency situation.
But and there's where common sense has got to play a very, very major role. And I'm talking to Sam and Martha about the training of the folks that are going to pilot these aircraft, and use your head. If you're going to land on a highway, do some research. I mean, look for power lines, look for outages, look for the condition of the road. I mean, there's some roads I've driven my truck on that I wouldn't dare get my Switchblade on because it's going to beat it up. So doing some homework, and but I can see that it's going to thrive as far as the kit. And by the way, it is a kit, is it not?
Correct.
Okay, so now you being as owner operators, are you going to be there building the kit at the assembly plant?
That's the plan.
Okay.
For most everybody, that's the nice thing about it. They're having it's a minimum 3-week builder assist program. So you've got people there that have built full scale ones for other people that didn't want to do their own building.
Right.
And so they'll have the know-how to help us along to do it right and do it right the first time.
Well, and the legalities as far as the 51%.
Still 51%.
rule.
You're doing the work, but they're telling you, okay, that's where that goes really. So.
Yeah, and again, legally, there's a way to do this and do it safely without losing the intent of the amateur-built aircraft spirit.
Yes.
And the FAA is constantly having to run down I'm going to call them renegades, that they take a check from somebody that buys a kit, and before you know it, their airplane pops out of a hangar. And well, where's the owner been all this time? He's a doctor. He's been doing brain surgery, for the past 8 months, and this airplane has just been produced in 6 months. How did this happen? How did he build the airplane? So it's a very cat and mouse game, but the reality of it is, and I know Sam well enough, to where it will be a legitimate, you will build that airplane, and you will know everything about it. And when it comes out, you're going to be doing the condition inspections on it as a requirement, and the serial number is going to probably have your name associated with it. And but I can't wait. Have you guys come up with some different scenarios of getting together and doing some formation, flying somewhere, and maybe a little rally, Switchblade rally? If you will?
Well, it's in the back of our mind. If you look at the back of our shirts, it actually says Switchblade Squadron. So we're sort of forming up as it is, and when we can take over the skies, I'm sure we'll do it.
We'll actually get together tomorrow night, as a matter of fact, for a little social gathering of Switchblade owners to discuss.
Well, that's good. And how many owners do you have here so far?
There's at least 5 here right now. We have more coming that are not able to stay here the whole time.
Okay, so actually, Brian, we've been chasing each other around air shows for years. And I see the movement is growing. It's gaining a little bit of popularity. And it's going to gain a lot more popularity in soon to come. Where do people go to get information on the Switchblade?
Well, of course, we've got the Samson Sky website where you can look stuff. They also have a Facebook page.
And
So
this is awfully shiny, but I'm not going to do that to Obi.
Yeah, don't worry about it. But you can do a Google search on Switchblade. You have to. Okay, we're not a knife, but we're close, and
we're going to zoom in. And I bet if folks were these are kind people, and if you had an opportunity to get onto the website, you could probably wind up with one of these brochures real quick.
Oh, or just find somebody in a shirt like this. We're pretty happy to give them to you.
And you probably got 3 or 4 of these here.
Oh, a dozen.
Okay.
And to go along with that, we had our first forum this morning. Very well received and attended. A lot, exceeded my expectations on the number of people. We've got 3 more, one Thursday, one Friday, and another one on Sunday. And if you do come, you sign up with an email address to get our email, you can win this cap.
What cap? I don't see a cap. Hold that cap. That is a cool
there it is.
cap.
Yep. We're giving away 1 for each forum, so you can sport it, and it'll may only be the only 4 on the site here for this weekend.
So this cap, I'm surprised Sam don't have some wings that swing out of the cap. But there we are, camera 3.
So.
The wings that kind of swing out of the cap, that would work. But that really is cool. And That's you know, it's got class. That's one thing I noticed about your shirts have class. Sam and Martha have class. Is there any doubt that this vehicle is not going to have class?
Well, Ben, I think you touched on probably the biggest point right there. And what attracted us to Switchblade to start with was, and I think you mentioned a little bit of it at the very beginning, Sam is so focused and he knows where he wants to go and what he wants to produce. But he has both feet on the ground and you can talk to him in plain English. And he and Martha both are great at answering questions and any concerns that you might have. When we first met him and talked to him, there was no doubt that this was going to become a reality. This was not a pipe dream. It wasn't, that childhood idea that we all grew up with of having a flying car. Sam is so focused, and everything is built around the idea of safety right from the very beginning. The builder assist program, so it's in the plant. I can't imagine Ken Chatham building an airplane in his garage, taking it out and flying it for the first time. But when you go into the plant and you put the fuselage together with a gentleman who does this day in, day out, and there's a professional using their tools and their plant, and he's making sure that you get it right. And then you work with the power plant specialist putting the engine in. You know he knows what he's doing, where I might not know what I'm doing. But in their plant, using their tools with the oversight there, this all starts out with safety right from the ground up, from the very beginning. Go over to the avionics stack and work with an avionics technician putting that in. So you come out of the plant in, a month, less than a month, with your airplane. Look how many people have started with a kit and still have the kit in their garage. And here you not only have your car, your airplane, but you know it's been put together right. And when you look at the vehicle itself, it just exudes safety. I mean, you've got the shock absorbing front and rear, the steel side cage, the idea of a cage within a cage, kind of like the Formula One race cars, all built around protecting the people inside of the plane. And the person that you have flying with you is probably going to be the nearest and dearest person in the world to you. So when you're working with a company like Samson, and you know that that's their number one emphasis is creating a safe vehicle, that's what you can build a company on. Ken is an Angel Flight pilot, and he looked at it from the standpoint of flying a patient to a hospital, but then there has to be ground transportation. Wouldn't it be neat to take that patient to the hospital airport, retract your wings and drive them up to the hospital and then go back to the airport, push a few buttons or extend your wings and fly home?
Well, and to be doing it safely, and I think you're going to be impressed with a lot of the NASCAR technology and the automotive racing technology. And I hate to admit that in some cases they're well beyond aviation technology in some of their, but frangible fittings, you have to have a fire, and it's one of the worst possible things to have in an aircraft occurrence. If you're able to unplug the source, the likelihood of having a raging fire isn't going to concern you as much. So there's a lot of safeties built into this design. And I'm still just intrigued. I know Brian you have a military background.
Yes.
We'll develop that a little bit more. But Ken, what is your background? Where do you come from? I detect a little bit of a boot, and you wouldn't be from Canada, would you?
No,
Really?
from Virginia.
Virginia?
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, I would have missed that one.
Yeah, we have driver education schools, and that's why safety is so important to us. We're looking at it from the standpoint of the automobile on the highway, but also since we both fly, we want the safest thing in the sky too.
And driver education, so that is where you come from. You're driving, your business.
Yeah.
It is a business.
We raise alpacas too, but
you raise alpacas.
Alpacas, but the driving school is the company.
Well, that's cool. And how in the world did Sam find you?
We found Sam.
found
You know,
Sam.
we were going down this little path at Oshkosh, and here was Sam in a tent
Yep.
with a plywood mock-up of what he was going to be developing. And the pieces just fell together, so we've been following this since conception.
Yep.
But you know, from our area in Virginia, we tell people, wouldn't it be neat on a Sunday afternoon or a Sunday, go to church, come out of church, get in your Switchblade, drive to the airport, fly down to Nag's Head, which is 150 miles away, spend the day in Nag's Head, about an hour before sundown, go back out to the airport. You know, you don't have to go get in your airplane, you're in your airplane. Extend the wings, fly back home, get home before sundown and still get home in time to watch all of your Sunday TV shows.
Yep.
And you've been to church, you've been to Nag's Head, you've been swimming in the ocean, and had a picnic, and you're home at night.
When I see,
And no hangar rent.
Yeah,
no hangar rent. Didn't have to put the plane in the hangar.
Well, little do you know that Sam, being so far ahead of all of us, he knew you were going to be walking down that path, and he said, "What can we do to find some folks that have a driving school? Yeah, we need some driving school owners."
There you go.
And Brian is military. You were one Globemaster.
Well, I was
Loadmaster.
a navigator on B-52s and WC-130s. So
Okay.
I've dropped bombs and flown in hurricanes.
And this is one of your passions, I know. And you've been following this for probably a little bit longer than.
Well, no, I'm relatively new, and I'm jealous of them. I'm actually number 63.
Oh man,
So,
these guys did get
yeah,
the jump on.
yeah, I just discovered it in early 2014. So, but I definitely jumped on the bandwagon.
Well, that's only 2 years ago.
I know.
But you were from the very beginning. I must have met you right after you
Yeah.
signed the papers.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great. And and again, there's the innovation of what's going on here with this design is, I know that there's others that have touted a flying car design, and there's been a flying car since the 40s.
Oh.
Yep.
They've always been around, but the actual putting together of a performance machine, as well as something. The other cars, okay, they might be able to fly, and they might be able to highway, but they don't do either one well.
Right.
And usually you have to sacrifice one. I'm a CB lover, as folks that know me know, but the CB is a beautiful boat, but it's a marginal. It gets the job done in the air. But with the Switchblade, it looks like it's going to be literally a high performance. When you say on the ground, what does Sam gives some figures as far as the
Well, it compares it.
acceleration?
It compares it to a Jaguar XK8 as far as being able to outperform that in the road and track slalom test. If you could find a place, I guess you could go 100 miles an hour. Myself, I never like driving faster than I can. Than it takes to take off flying. So.
And I don't fly any higher than I'm prepared to fall, so don't worry. But I do like to fall, so don't get me wrong. And you guys, I'm just still enamored about your enormous support of the vehicle, and guys, we want to thank you for taking your time to come join us, and we really do appreciate all that Sam and Martha and his whole crew has done to bring this to fruition. And we look forward to seeing you drive in or fly in this machine in a year or 2 or 3.
I'm hoping, maybe not next year, but the year after.
Okay, it's official now. It's official.
I said I'm hoping.
He just mentioned that this will be flying in next year.
He said it.
But we do want to thank you for joining us here and for visiting with these fine folks. We do look forward to seeing you on the next interview.